In tonight's big story breakdown, we are digging into the findings revealed in the state auditor's report on federal grant spending and how those involved are responding. Because of that audit, the Attorney General is now calling for investigative audits into state agencies.
Fox 25's Jameson Kiefover spoke to the state auditor today about her office's findings that could now turn into criminal charges.
Oklahoma State Auditor Cindy Byrd said for the second year in a row, her office's audit of federal funding found a lack of transparency and millions of taxpayer dollars mismanaged. She says the problems are stemming from one government agency. The 200-page audit analyzed more than $13 billion of federal grant funding in Oklahoma during fiscal year 2022. State Auditor Cindy Byrd sat down with Fox 25, detailing the biggest issues to come out of the report and how it impacts Oklahomans.
They should care about this because this is their tax dollars being spent.
Much of the mishandling of funds, according to the report, starts in the Office of Management Enterprise Services, or OMES, the agency that manages federal grants and distributes the funding. The audit flags the way OMES awarded contracts through rolling solicitation, giving the office permission to choose any contractor without going through a competitive bidding process.
Well, a competitive bid is important so that the taxpayer knows we're getting the best product or service for the best price.
And instead, you guys are finding that that's just not happening. It's going to whomever they choose.
That's correct.
The audit report also looked at who was awarded the contracts from OMES, finding a former OMES employee's consulting firm misspent more than $700,000, and a nonprofit contracted by OMES had excessive management fees and around $21 million in questionable costs.
I hate to continue to point out OMES's deficiencies, but if we can get that part of the state cleaned up, then the rest of the state can work as it was meant to be and be a delivery of services without being a burden on the checkbook.
Following the report, the state attorney general's office asked Byrd to conduct several investigative audits
To determine whether or not the state of Oklahoma spent the money according to the grant guidelines. That audit will go in to determine who was responsible for this.
That could result in the state attorney general bringing criminal charges against those responsible for misallocating money. Byrd says those investigations will start immediately, but it's unclear when those audits will be finalized.
What role could state lawmakers play in fixing these problems?
I encourage state lawmakers to take a deeper look at what exemptions are allowed in the competitive bidding process that are not good for the taxpayer.
Oklahoma taxpayers, including you, could end up paying double for the state's mismanagement.
This should concern every taxpayer because when the state of Oklahoma misspends federal funds that were given to them for a specific purpose, the federal government can and has in the past clawed back funds.
For Fox 25 News, I'm Jameson Kiefover.